this full teamfight style, because we have seen enchanters work okay in that bot lane. It's more so about where does the rest of that engage come from, and if you want to try and leave that counter pick for captain in the mid lane, you've always got the opportunity to go towards the Ornn, maybe a Gragas or something in the top lane for Lulu. But it looks like captain, we talked about him playing that more roam orientated style. He's going to go straight towards the Twisted Fate, and it's not the Jinx, it's that Aphelios that's going to be locked in for the bot.
Big power support now in the mid lane here for captain, but it's all about how you use those destiny gates, how you're able to use that point and click CC lockdown with the gold card. Of course, you get the rapid fire cannon, becomes almost impossible to evade. Now anyone's legend, they got Xiaohao that's in Zhao. They got him his very favored, very comfortable pick in this jungle to make those early plays. We'll see what else they want to go for. I wouldn't be surprised to see them even go for a mid laner here just so they can get that counter pick.
I think for anyone's legend though, like, you've got Galio, you've got Ryze, you've got answers towards this Twisted Fate, right? So I feel like you end up going towards the support here, because my biggest worry is like, okay, you take a solo laner here, we get Jarvan on the opposite side, you end up banning away a whole bunch of stuff, and suddenly this Jinx is incredibly vulnerable on the back line without really much in the way of heals. But with that said, DZ locks in the Gwen, so I think Jarvan here for TT, you end up with a strong front line, plenty of engage tools, plenty of dive tools as well to get access and like kind of bypass this Zhao and Gwen and look to see if you can damage the back line.
Well, the Gwen gets locked and loaded, like you mentioned, for ZDZ. Has now already straight away news saying we do not want to have to deal with that. We want to get a good matchup here for him, and going to go with the Jayce.
Yeah, it means the Frigid is going to be on the back foot though, right? No jungler locked in for TT. You can start to ban these away as anyone legends, so things like the Lee Sin, even the Viego if you wanted to. And then you're kind of wondering, like, where does Frigid go from there? We have seen obviously the Jarvan that we were talking about could also be a potential ban, but it doesn't really feel like things like a Talon or a Diana or any of these things really fit into the TT composition right now.
Well, the Rakan, the Talon, all banned away so far. As anyone's letting us start to focus out those jungle picks, as we mentioned there. Frigid going to be a little bit put behind. There's still things like the Viego, the Jarvan, things that can skirmish. Hell, you could go with the Trundle just to fully mitigate that early game from the Xin Zhao, so we can't go for those aggressive 1v1 trades. But right now, it does feel like TT are saying, look, we need to try and focus out Chocho and try and make his impact as mitigated as possible.
That's the Nautilus banned away. So I still think for Jinx, you can go towards the Lulu pick here, especially honestly I think TT hurting themselves more with the bans they've gone for, things that can dive on towards this Jinx. So a little bit of a weird ban phase for me. Like, I'm trying to figure out exactly what the plan is here. I think, yeah, maybe the Trundle ban coming through here because you basically have the better side of the matchup then for everything else for Xiaohao. But for TT, I'm like, I feel like trying to have a good amount of dive here is actually going to help you out more so here. And the fact that you've taken away a lot of those picks that can set up for the dive makes it really odd to me. I mean, you can try and play 1-3-1, but certainly it doesn't feel like you're going to win mid push, which makes it tough. I kind of feel like TT are just painting themselves into a corner.
Just a little bit, and now they're going to see lock and load the Olaf, I should say, in for Frigid in the top side, or excuse me, the jungle lane. Not quite sure where I'm going with this. My brain is all muddled up right now. As I'm trying
if it helps, I don't know where TT are going.
Yeah, I'm trying to make head nor tail about where this draft is going right now. So
look,
not
there's
really
the Lulu,
working
right?
out.
We're happy with the Lulu. I think this is great. Because honestly, as we pointed out, no real dive from TT. I thought that was the direction they're going to go with this, but they're not. So now the Lulu Jinx is going to work really well in the back line and keeping her safe. A cleanse will stop any sort of pick coming through. We're going to see what Maples decide for in the mid lane. We already said the Ryze works wonders here, right? So you already have that locked in for Maple. He's happy in the mid lane. You full shove in the TF, so he can't really get access to the map at level 6. You have a reasonably okay matchup for ZDZ in the top side. And sure, you get to counter pick support here, but you've already banned away Leona, Rakan, and Nautilus, right? Like the things that want to try and dive and set up. So it feels like you're not really under too much pressure here. They'll go towards the Yuumi, right? But Lulu can poke against the Aphelios reasonably well, has the shield to keep herself safe every time Yuumi sends out a prowling shot or whatever it's called. Like, I don't know. I feel like TT have just bamboozled themselves with the draft.
Yeah, yes, the Yuumi is a very annoying pick to deal with, but the Lulu is considered a pretty damn good counter into it. You've got that polymorph whenever the Yuumi tries to go out to harass to get that extra shield. You can stop them from reattaching, and what's the Yuumi supposed to do? So a lot of opportunities here, a lot of ways for anyone's legends, I should say, to really make their composition work. It just feel like TT kind of threw everything like a dart hat attached to his legs. So we'll see what way it ends up working. We are jumping onto the Rift for game 1 of this best of 3. Anyone's Legends versus Thunder Talk Gaming. This is going to be a battle for the wooden spoon, in my opinion. It's going to be a lot of these guys. If you're not quite sure what that means, look it up. It's a pretty common sports reference. And oh my god. Beautiful skins up in the sky of Summoner's Rift. And Anyone's Legend just prepared. We saw this from the previous series as well with Ultra Prime. They're just prepared to stop any kind of aggressive vision being put down by TT.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, at least on Frigid's side, like trying to spot out where Xiaohao is, maybe you can try and look for some early duels or early plays. But again, my biggest worry is losing bot push, losing mid push. It can make it very difficult for you to play in as this Olaf, especially if you're looking for like evades coming through from QiuQiu and Betty, Maple being able to follow up. It means you're reliant on Captain being pretty much on point with this Destiny post 6, but pre-6 as well, there's always the opportunity to figure out where he's going to go. So Frigid, not really shown much though. You can see that he's actually started on his Raptors without a leash and no vision in the opposite jungle, means that anyone's Legend won't know where Frigid has started. Maybe he can catch some people unaware.
Yeah, they are recognizing though that SouthWind does not have any pots. We saw pings going out on the bot side. They expect there's a pink ward somewhere in the river to try and spot out Xiaohao. And we're just going to basically see a little bit of a battle for the middle brush right now for both these supports.
Still though, like, Hope in theory should be able to win this push. Aphelios has a good amount of damage that he can turn out early. Crescendum also usually does reasonably okay, but QiuQiu and Betty have actually done a good job of being able to push up here, keep SouthWind and Puff honest, and you can see while Betty's been able to keep himself auto attacking these creeps, Puff has not been able to do so, and the first push does go to Betty and QiuQiu.
Now we wait to see where they want to try and progress. Both these early junglers, very, very key for them to get out onto the map to make something work for their teams. For Xiaohao, he has focused a lot in that top side, so we'll see in the early stages if he decides to lean up towards there again, or if he looks to try and make something else happen around the map.
Yeah, already though, you can see Maple just starting to get the wards in. They just want to figure out exactly where this Olaf has started. With the Raptors gone, it looks like they're going to be aware that he is moving down towards this bottom side. Still though, it will just end. Oh, actually, I'm looking at Xiaohao's path team moving back down towards this bot side. Trying to see if they can contest on the bot scuttle off of the push that the bot lane for Betty and QiuQiu has.
Yeah, Smite's already been used. And will he have enough? Ooh, just out of range with Xiaohao. So Frigid, a little bit fortunate to not get that camp stolen away from him. That doesn't mean he probably will end up getting the double scuttle camps for himself. So that's very nice there for the Olaf. But in the long run, doesn't make a big thing. If you're not aware, they changed the scuttle coming into Season 12. It no longer gives you full XP on the first clear. They only give you, I'm not quite sure what that was about for Maple. Gets hit by the undertow. They flash forward, force a flash out of the mid laner. Maple, very disrespectful. He saw Frigid.
Yeah, and that's the power that we were talking about, right? Captain Frigid had the ability to play through this mid lane, and it means now Frigid just burns the flash on Maple, gets that second scuttle for himself, and it may not mean a huge amount, but it's still a nice start, right? Especially when we're talking about Frigid needs to come off the bat looking good. One successful gank for the flash, and also getting the double scuttle is a nice beginning for this Olaf.
Nice beginning. Good setup as well. Just put a lot of pressure now onto Maple. Needs to be very, very aware that a gold card, flash gold card into undertows is something that could very, very easily spell his demise. And both AD carries happy to keep farming in this bot side. Both of them very happy with their enchanter supports to keep them alive. And nothing really too crazy to be happening across the map. It does feel like this Olaf is naturally getting ahead, but it is to be expected considering it is still an Olaf.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we're looking for is level 6 for TT, right? Like, Frigid comes in, ganks Maple once more, especially as the whole point of this Ryze is, look, I'm going to shove aggressively in this lane and stop Captain from being able to roam. But if you were flashless and you're up against the potential stun card into the Olaf slows, you've got to play so much safer. So this gives Captain a little bit more wiggle room and the opportunity to try and play off towards side lanes. And especially with with both a New on this top side who can do a lot of work, and Puff, who we already talked about is the main carry for this squad. He's got options on either side.
And for Captain as well, he's gone with the Predator. We're seeing it more and more often with the rune choice for the Twisted Fate. It is becoming that extra little bit of, you know, movement speed, that extra little bit of close in that you can use to make yourself work out for your team and get that all important gold card onto someone like Betty, like ZDZ, or anyone really, to stop them from having an impact. We will see now the Viking Cat roaming around into the bot side now. They clear out all of this vision. They're just going to be able to help out Puff to keep the pressure going for themselves. So already we're seeing this frigid combination with SouthWind working out very nicely just to get them control around the river sides.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Predator point though, because like oftentimes it can be used on roams, but one of the kind of understated things is how well it can be used in lane as well, right? Pop that, very quickly get the speed boost, and as we talked about Maple already having no flash, like you set up really well for Frigid. So there's a couple of different uses for the Predator, not only just on top of that, the extra damage that they can provide in an all-in situation, but Xiaohao moving down towards this bot side will get spot on a ward, and once more, despite the fact that I expected like Frigid to be trying to get out early and playing through a lot of his lanes, it's actually been a little slow. Now moving back around towards this mid lane though, maybe they'll be looking for me.
Maybe SouthWind on a little bit of a journey right now. This is going to be the first scuttle with full XP available. Xiaohao recognizes he is a strong position with his support and AD carry having the push in that bot side. That's going to basically guarantee that scuttle goes over to the side of anyone's legend. So good vision control here, good pressure from the side of anyone's legend to make sure they're not just getting bullied by this Viking Cat combination.
Still though, like there's not like there's not a huge amount happening, right? Like, especially for TT, your mid lane doesn't scale as well, your jungle doesn't scale as well, your top lane doesn't scale as well. Arguably, your bot lane doesn't scale as well either, just because of the range disadvantage. So for TT, you definitely need to be the ones making the plays, and if you want to try and play this 1-3-1 pick comp, you kind of need to get the ball rolling early, because if dragons start going the way of anyone's legend and you're being forced into team fights, that's where it starts to become a little bit messy, and you're not going to be able to play through the strengths of this pick stop.
Unfortunately for the side of TT, we mentioned how Frigid got that early flash. Maple's got it back soon. There's no real advantage to be had here, and that's not a great situation to be in. We can see they're just keeping tabs on where this Olaf is going to go. He's not really been able to make something happen for him or his team. And yes, great that Nu's able to get him forward and keep the advantage up in this top side, but it's not really the greatest of starts here for the Olaf jungle.
At least they should be able to get this Rift Herald if they play it right. ZDZ super low, doesn't have his TP to get back to lane, so they should mid and can move across. But Captain also out of mana, so it looks like he's going to go for a reset. Maybe think of a Destiny in, but if that's going to be the case, well, that actually sets up for anyone's legend off the nicer reset themselves to move up here. They already had Betty and Chocho in position, and now they can just move across. Puff looking to trade on the bot side, but Maple here to protect.
Maple here to protect. There will be a turret plate going over to Puff, so nicely done by him, and there's going to be a trade of the top side for the bot side, so TT not losing out in this trade just yet. They actually have about 1,000 gold lead just because of the top side, and a little bit of that mid lane as well. Of course, you do get that passive, the high roller from Captain on the Twisted Fate, so they will trade back the objectives. Rift Herald goes over in favor of anyone's legend, while the Dragon goes over in favor of TT. We do have a potential Chem Soul coming out onto the map, so I'm very excited for that. And yeah, for the moment, it just feels like TT are happy to keep trading this, because they're getting a lot of free time for this Aphelios in bot side, and not really a lot of answers coming out right now for anyone's legend, but they finally get themselves onto the turret.
Yeah, I mean, when you've committed that much time to the Rift Herald, and you're getting shoved off bot lane turret, means you've got the opportunity. So honestly, I think first tower is going to go over in favor of TT despite the Rift Herald. I'm not sure. There's only one plate left. Wave is just about to crash. Maybe anyone's legend could sneak it out, but I mean, realistically, good trade from TT.
Yep, very, very good trades. They will not get the first tower, as it was only the Aphelios trying to hit that one down, so it will be just a hair's breadth away. I will say for the side of anyone's legend, they will get a second charge now onto this Rift Herald, so, or rather they should get a second charge onto this Rift Herald. They're trying to corral it in, and yep, Shock Blast into the Smite means that the side of TT do stop that one as well, so not going to be a trade of inner turret for a tier 1. So right now TT again very happy with this trade as they're really coming out trumps.
I mean, a little bit more gold going over in favor of Anyone's Legend, right? They did get first turret. The only thing is that you're getting a lot of solo experience and gold coming in onto Puff, right? Like, you can see it there. He's about 600 gold up, and that's just from the CS and the fact he got the solo turrets, where you're splitting that on Anyone's Legend side. So, the grand scheme of things, it means that Puff should be in a pretty good spot to, like, finish off his item and then and then try and carry some of these early fights. But we haven't really seen them come up, right? Anyone's Legend haven't played away from like the Dragon. They picked up that Rift Herald, and at least for Puff, again, still the question remains, how well can he orchestrate himself in these fights? He's relying on Captain and SouthWind to provide the CC to get him into these engagements.
This is a much more tempered and slow start to this game that we expected. We highlighted how Xiaohao has been very aggressive, very prominent in the early stages of the game, but 11 minutes in, neither jungler really making their mark, both just sitting on their Iron Spike whips and phages, waiting to see that something can work for them, as we do wait to see where they want to push for the next foreseeable future. Frigid will take the ult out of him as he has to keep himself alive. They, however, nearly get the ult out. They're going to try and use the final chapter and the Destiny Gate. A lot of low health bars. They are going to put down the Twisted Fate Captain. I don't think you want to be going that aggressive. Your team cannot follow up. And that's a flash used there. So TT just get caught out and have to use a lot of summoners defensively.
Yeah, flashes the rockets on towards Frigid as well, who got blasted in the face with that one, so he's going to back away. Not the cleanest of setups for TT, and it means that Anyone's Legend at least come out in the mid engagement, but look at the top side, right? You had that push. ZDZ not really in a position to try and turn the round. Maple has to TP in. So a nice attempt coming through kind of from TT. It does gain them pressure on the map, but you're being answered on the bot.
Are being answered. Everfrost has been finished up now for captains, so maybe feeling a little bit more confident as the game goes on. Betty did take quite a chunk, so going to be able to pick up the rest of that farm and then back himself away. Has the Kraken Slayer available to him, as does Puff with his Gale Force. So both AD carries very much on point, and 600, 500 gold available to TT in the advantage, but that's pretty much all Captain and New, so it's not really that big of a deal as of the moment, and this game is just slowly happening. I don't think anything is happening, but it's just slowly happening. I don't know. I'm a play-by-play man. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, look, I think it's a series of missed opportunities, right? Like we talked about Captain getting that flash from Maple mid. We never saw it revisited by TT. For Anyone's Legend, we already said, hey, look, they're happy to just look and scale. And with Dragon now, in a minute's time, you're getting the resets coming through for TT. They pushed out side lanes well, but again, like, you're not really getting control over the map to go, oh, we can now look for picks. And for Anyone's Legend, with the Kraken Slayer completed, War Drinker coming through on towards Xiaohao as well, and control over River, it feels like they can now start to situate themselves with these dragons. For TT, I think you give it. Move Frigid up towards his top side, look to take that last last bit of health off that top lane structure. There's no need for you to fight at this dragon. You're not playing that style of composition. You want to open up the map with getting these turns.
I thought I signed a contract to cast LPL, not LCK. This is just so not what I expect from LPL teams. We can see a little poking and prodding coming out from TT, but they're going to take your very sage advice, Dagda, and they're going to not trade the dragon for their lives. They're just going to try and trade it for plates in this top side. It's going to be the one plate, actually, and then a little bit more pressure. So gaining a bit more extra gold, they have to trade it on the side of Anyone's Legend, because you do not want those dragons stacking against you, especially with the mobility available to you on the side of TT, considering you have the Destiny Gate, the Acceleration Gate, and of course the unlockdownable Olaf in that jungle. But now Xiaohao in a lot of trouble. You can't just cleanse away that CC. Really disrespectful play coming out from Xiaohao, and that's first blood coming out of TT. We're going to see the Realm Orb come out for the side of Maple just to keep himself safe, but you got the dragon. What was the point?
Well, it's a bit of a messy back and forth, right? Like we said for TT, I wanted to see Frigid and SouthWind move up top side, because it's like, look, you still got TPs available on Anyone's Legend side. So you take Dragon, you TP ZDZ top, you don't get the top lane structure. But what ended up happening was, as soon as DDZ went up towards top side, well, then you just end up having the TP come through from Captain, and now you've got the numbers advantage in that area. So yes, you get one pick, but the objective had already gone across, and you see it here, right? ZDZ had already TP'd into the top side, and that's what problem solved this. Yes, Xiaohao does get caught out of position, but honestly, I mean, one pick instead of that top lane tower, honestly, I don't actually think does a huge amount for them. I would have rather see the commitment towards the top tower, fall back then, you can look towards Rift Herald. Now instead, you end up with, cool, we got a pick, but we invested a lot to try and make that pick happen, and now anyone's legend, knowing that there's no ult on the Yuumi, no ult on the Olaf at the moment either, can just look to burst out Rift Herald and take over the map.
Speaking of bursting people out, Betty will take about half his HP out from the Moonlight Vigil. Not quite the 100 to 0 Puff was hoping for, as he does have the Gravitum alongside the I forgot the sniper god. It's called now. What's the sniper called? Calibro. There it is. He kept saying crescendum, and I was just like, that didn't quite make sense.
He's on the bot side.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to
pushing for. He's going for a tier 2. He might just take it and then immediately TP in. There's some decent wards here for the side of TT if they want to try and go for this fight. They are backing themselves away though, so they're not going to be able to get this Rift Herald. But honestly, it's a tower for what could be a tower. I still think you take that trade if you're TT all day long.
Yeah, especially the tier 2, and if Puff can get some good damage on mid again. Like, the game plan here for TT is opening up the map, right? So getting these towers down, being able to get vision, look for moments to make these picks is far more important for them. The fact that they got away with like that has been really, really good. So yeah, this is a TT victory by all accounts in my book.
Yeah, 3,000 gold, or maybe about 2.5 now in favor of TT, as we only have the 1 kill to speak of. It's been a trade of objectives. It's been a very heavy macro game. Right now, anyone's legend just feel a bit lost right now. It just feels like TT are playing the map better.
I think we're starting to see the downside of the composition though, right? We said in Champ Select that the big thing that happens is when you pick an enchanter like Lulu with the Jinx, you need an engage tool elsewhere on the map. And we started calling for Gragas's, we started talking for Horns. Now, yes, it was on TT's side, but this still stands for anyone's legend as well. And now you're looking at anyone's legend going, cool, when you have an opportunity to actually take a fight, who sets you up? Is it like Maple flashing forward with a stun? Not exactly the best idea. Xiaohao, if he misses the wind becomes lightning, and it becomes useless. And honestly, you've got a ton of CC from SouthWind that provides great heal. So trying to set up these fights becomes really, really difficult. And one of the big things you want against the pick composition and the side laning composition is the ability to collapse very quickly in on top of them. And anyone's legend just don't really have that here, which is why TT are playing so aggressive at things like the Rift Herald. Getting up in their face, knowing, hey, look, you try and engage on me, I have support, I have the ability to get away, and you can't really lock me up.
As well as that, there's not really anyone on the side of TT, or excuse me, anyone's legend that can deal with TT in the side lane. So we are going to see a trade, but still a trade down. You took that Rift Herald and it cost you 2 turrets, and you've actually lost one as well on the top side. So 3 turrets for 1, and it was an outer. It feels a little bit early as well, considering the dragon spawning at 44. They could have gotten that pressure in mid, maybe look to try and crack that one open for themselves, open up that map a little bit more, but not to be. We do have a Mikhail's Blessing for the Cho onto this, for this Jinx, I should say, to make sure that if they do get caught by the gold card and anything else after that, the cleanse as well as that extra little bit of CC mitigation should be enough. But now both teams setting themselves up for this dragon. 20 seconds till that spawns. And honestly, I think TT are going to be the ones feeling happy about kind of, you know, anyways, just walking into them.
Well, I think the big thing is Mikhail's is good for saving Betty, bad for enabling anyone's legend to engage, but if Frigid gives it to them.
I mean, if he does give it to them, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, has to blow the Ragnarok, so that's going to be a big cooldown. But look at the damage there from that accelerated shock blast. You just got New back in time to finish off his mana Mune. Going to be a Mer mana very, very soon. Now you can see anyone's legend trying to see if they can sustain this one up. And speaking of sustain, you got a Yuumi on the side of TT as we now go straight in on the fight. We're going to be Frigid flashing away, but you can see he gets out when the cat's out of the bag. The cat is going to be killed, and then that's a lot of your sustain no longer available. Anyone's legend finally waking up and finally looking to try and maybe they can take this dragon. It is going to be a reverse though in terms of where the side of TT want to look for. They're going to try and catch some people on some pretty bad returns. They are going to put in the damage on the Betty, but it's not going to be enough as the traps are enough to dissuade them.
Yeah, TT though have push in mid. They can still look to zone people out. Nice Destiny here to spot them, and anyone's legend forced to back away. So TT, they're going to keep themselves in check. Realm Warp to get protection onto this mid lane turret.
Good moves from TT. A little bit of unfortunate there that they do lose the cat. So Yuumi goes down. They cannot continue their engage. And look at the summoners available. Exhaust and Ignite still available there for SouthWind. But when that all said and done, you're still getting good pressure. Still 4,000 gold lead, just about under it for TT. And honestly, they get this turret because of good resets.
Yeah, but this isn't like nice that TT get this, right? But again, they're setting up poorly for these fights. I think that they don't need to take these. Instead, they could have just looked again to like trade it for top lane pressure, getting that tier 2 top side. They do get the tier 2 mid off of mistakes from TT. Sorry, mistakes from anyone's legend. But I still think there's like better ways to play this out. If you can't find picks before the objective, look to trade it elsewhere. And again, no real vision control in the enemy jungle as TT exit. There was wards in the bank, but they're not putting them down. And so here, right, forget about this. Path up towards top side, go get that tier 2 in top lane. And the fact that SouthWind ends up going down here is obviously a bit of a problem, but I think you can just trade that elsewhere and you still have anyone's legend, right? They're going to get dragon. They're the team fighting composition, but TT, they're just not looking for the picks beforehand, and it's coming back to cost.
Very, very slow game. I'm disappointed anyone's legend TT. 2 kills in 21 minutes? A kill every 10 minutes? I think it has been every 10 minutes as well. Not good enough. Not good enough. Where is the blood for the blood god? This isn't the LPL I joined in 2019. This isn't the teams. Well, in fairness, this isn't the teams that played in 2019, but it is still very tempered from both of these squads. And honestly, I feel like the Olaf pick is slowly losing relevance. It is going to be just a Yuumi transportation, a nuisance, if you will, as the game goes on. It still has a pretty decent setup as of right now, but if Found Downs are picked up for the Jinx, you've got that Winter here for the Ryze. It's going to be very difficult to pick a target for you to be able to actually put pressure onto it.
I mean, I think the biggest thing right now is just kind of acting as like a helpful wave clear alongside Puff, because realistically, like the 3 members of TT are going to be stuck here with Puff, Frigid, and SouthWind, and now you're looking for plays with this.
Yeah, you're definitely looking forward to ZDZ. Gets himself over the wall, but he's going to fall anyway. Nice capitalization there, and they actually forced the flash out of Chocho, excuse me, I was going to say TT. But they get the flash out of him. Moonlight Vigil has been used. Puff using his Gale Force very aggressively. It does mean that they're going to have pressure on bot side, but no real objective to take. And honestly, anyone's legend are still pushing top side, so they're still gaining a little bit off the side lanes.
I mean, TT are just playing the map so much better than anyone's legend, right? You still have the ability to 1-3-1 and kind of match this pressure from anyone's legend, but they really haven't been there. Maple off in the side lane. ZDZ feels like he's being called to the rest of the team quite a lot of the time when he doesn't need to be there. And it's giving you all this pressure on the sideline. Like, look, a 40 CS lead essentially going through to Nu. Just he's been allowed to sit in the side lane. He's got the level advantage. He's now going to have the item advantage as well. And coming across for anyone's legend, they're just losing out on map states. Despite the fact that they might have a team fighting comp that can do well, like they can play both. We're just not seeing it really come to fruition for them.
Yeah, you mentioned that 30 CS lead in top side, 50 CS in bot lane as well, so pretty much a full item ahead is the Aphelios as now. Xiaohao needs to be a little bit careful here. Does not want to get run down as he is going to be. They're going to use the ultimate there from the Cat and, of course, the Olaf to try and burn them down. TP is coming in. There's good damage here, though, from the side of TT. You need to be very careful if you're the side of anyone's legend, but the Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. Excuse me, the Super Mega Death Rocket comes down, and that's Frigid dead. Now ZDZ trying to run away. Look at Nu. He's just so powerful. The Realm Orb is good, though, and despite all the low health bars, it's still anyone's legend coming out with a kill.
Yeah, nice job from TT though, right? They end up finding that pick. They are able to turn it around, and with 35 seconds on towards the dragon, anyone's legend are going to be forced to reset. TT burn a ton in that fight, and honestly might have set themselves up for the next dragon fight reasonably well.
We'll see now what was used. Look at all the flashes that were burned. It's basically everyone except Betty has got nothing available to them, and with this dragon going over to the side of TT, it is going to basically see anyone's legend. Just so you can see it already, Betty's on top side. He does not want anything to do with this. He does not want to have to deal with it, but they might try and trade it for a Baron. I think it's a little bit risky to go for that play, especially when Destiny Gate's still available.
They haven't reset on TT's side though, so you wouldn't have the huge amount of the damage coming out. The biggest problem though is like the flashes that were burnt in the last fight, right? Xiaohao, Maple, both down. These are the two that you're kind of looking to be that engaged to. You have no Ghost or TP available for ZDZ either, so there was a huge amount gone, which is why anyone's legend, you're looking to trade this now, maybe for a pick onto Captain, but unfortunately that wave is gone if they're looking at that tier 2.
Well, still 4,000 gold lead for TT, equal on the Dragons. They both have a mountain, cloud, and ocean apiece. Anyone's Legend now start to try and see if they can get their AD carry up to that 3-item point. It will be the Aphelios hitting the Infinity Edge well before the Jinx, so it's a little bit to be concerned about. But TT hovering around this top side. They have got a TP onto News. They might just try and turn and burn. They could take this objective very quickly. 3 items onto the Jayce now.
I think it is hard though, because you've always got the realm warp to get you in there, TP for Maple as well, and if you end up kind of locked in that pit, it becomes super easy for Betty to set up with the front line and just wail away on you as you try to get back. So, we'll have to see. As I was saying though, the big problem again for anyone's Legend is like, if you start this, you don't really have the Shreddy's Revelry on towards Lulu to speed you up and try and chase down TT if that CC is going through for you.
Well, they're going to try and start this one off. Anyone's Legend in a little bit of trouble. Xiaohao down to about half HP. Never mind, make that a 5th as he goes all the way back to his own setup. Tries to keep himself alive. The Lulu not really doing a lot to keep him alive. He'll only be able to put out a couple of shields. And Puff is soloing out the Baron as of right now. They have no real way of checking this. And with Xiaohao so low, this is just a free objective for TT.
Yeah, I mean, Xiaohao takes the brunt of the damage, and it's kind of the downside when you look towards the Jin Zhao, right? Like, if you've got New who's able to get that damage in play, you've got Captain who's able to CC you down, and we're looking for more.
Not quite sure where that Destiny Gate went. It looked like the Observer was showing an incredibly
he went like 2
deep
feet.
TP. Yeah, literally went 2 feet. It looked like the Observer was looking for an incredibly deep Destiny Gate, but TT coming out with that objective win. And they're 5,000 gold ahead. They will have the pressure in the side lane. New on this Jayce is just ridiculously big. And there's just no one on the side of anyone's Legend who can deal with him. You saw there, just one half health to almost dead on Xiaohao, who's supposed to be your pseudo tank.
Yeah, and I think, again, like, no engage for anyone's Legends makes this a lot tougher. We're going to replay here. I think it is just, of the Destiny.
Where'd he go? Oh.
That ward never knew what hit it.
what a capitalization there from TT's mid laner captain. And yeah, it's been an incredibly slow one. TT now 27 minutes into the game have themselves a Baron buff, have themselves a 6,000 gold lead, and an Infinity Edge onto their AD carry alongside that Zhonya's Rapid Fire Cannon and Everfrost of their mid laners. So right now it does feel like it's going to be a slow, methodical, very boring win coming out here for TT. I saw that yawn, Mr. Price. I saw you yawning.
How dare you call me out like that? But I think the best bet is for anyone's Legend, see if they can get a sneaky TP ward, right? Try and get the ZDZ into the back line. Maybe you can look to then flank TT and corral them in where you can actually find the fight. Jinx almost has 3 items. When that Infinity Edge ends, she's going to be monstrous, especially with the Kraken Slayer. But it's just a case of actually trying to set up fights for Betty. A minute and 40 until that next dragon is still a long way away, and you've got a minute left on this Baron. It kind of syncs up nicely where TT can finish these sieges and reset just in time for the dragon.
I'm bored. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm bored. This is not what I came to expect. I'm not Atlas, I'm not Valdez, I'm not used to these snooze fests. I can't acclimatize to this, straight off the bat. I will say though, still a lot of damage coming out from that Jayce and able to really put the pressure down onto anyone's Legend. And there is still about 40 seconds left on this Baron buff, so they'll get one more wave of push into this top side. But it looks like already TT setting themselves up for maybe looking to try and get a fight around maybe the next dragon in a minute.
I think the big problem for TT is, like, apart from New, and when the rapid fire is up for Captain, you don't have a huge amount of range, so you are, I was about to say, relying on New hitting some of these accelerated shot blasts to bounce anyone's Legend off the wave and off of that tower, but unfortunately it's not going to be the case thus far with 10 seconds left. Honestly, I feel like you need to reset.
They go straight in though, and they're going to try and catch out Puff. They're not quite able to get him down just yet. No, there he is, he's dead, and now look at the resets. This is all on Betty. Betty finally getting himself back into this game. They go straight onto New, but can they catch him out? I don't think they can. He's just getting realm warped down, but no, he falls, and out of nowhere, anyone's Legend find themselves 3 kills.
And that's why I said I think you need to reset as soon as that TT over-aggressed that bit too far. Anyone's Legend pull the trigger, they get the speed up to engage onto TT, and that opens up Betty to deal the damage. Now anyone's Legend can run over towards the dragon, but we're going to catch it on the replay here, right? Maple keeping position, they see Twisted Fate in the mid lane, and that's one of the big tools for peeling for Puff. But unfortunately for Puff, he takes that step too far forward, and ZDZ collapses.
And they also get the dragon off of that as well. So not
bounty.
only do they get 2 kills onto Jinx, 1 onto the Ryze, they get the objective bounty, which is not a huge amount for the dragon, but hey, puts you onto Soul Point, puts you back up into about 4,500 gold behind. And again, we talked about this big critical moment for this Jinx. Betty now on that 3rd item. It's a big moment here. TT again. They played it so well. They were clearly winning on all fronts. And even look at the damage there from that last team fight from New. It was just chunking people out. But it doesn't matter if your key carries get caught.
Yeah, and I think a big mistake from Puff stepping up that far. I thought he's going to be safe with SouthWind, but doesn't matter how much that Yuumi can protect you, you're eventually going to get run down, especially by the Gwen who can throw down that hollowed mist. Now, control coming back of these waves. Anyone's Legend, again, like, they are a team that has really good scaling, and TT, yes, you've got that 4,000 gold lead, but your Twisted Fate isn't going to hit as hard. If Puff is the one that's getting deleted very quickly, well, then that's going to be an issue with Frigid.
He has to use the ult. That's a big cooldown now, and that you can see already the pressure coming in. Destiny Gate is going to be used. They know the Gwen isn't here. Maybe they look to try and get a 4v5. There's the Destiny Gate coming in, but they already hit him with the zap, and they're going to use the TP as well. Maple goes golden, but Captain being chased away. Xiaohao trying to buy time for his carries to join his team. And the rest of TT are now here. ZDZ feeling confident going forward with the needlework. Frigid has no way out, and he's taking down the Jinx. You get excited. They do go golden, though, as Betty just about keeps himself alive. The wild card's not enough to catch him out. Betty is now finally feeling confident, and they can run straight towards this dragon. They can get it before the Olaf spawns.
I mean, they gotta get the resets in first, though. Betty super low, has a little bit of lifesteal just from runes and also the Vamp Scepter, but it won't be enough. And big wave coming in the bot side. It may actually not be the case that anyone's Legend can turn towards the Baron. You can see the pings going down by TT, but so many low health bars mean anyone Legend can't just hard force the objective.
And this is starting to turn away from TT, who had so much control. Let's have a look at this right now, because again, look, they just feel confident saying, look, we can get the ultimate out of Frigid, and then they back away. They have enough kiting power to say, look, we can get the key cooldowns and then look to re-engage.
Yeah, I thought they might have bitten off more than QiuQiu, though, but when ZDZ starts to bring himself in. Red card for Captain, but it doesn't matter. Maple goes invincible. And Xiaohao, again, finds so much space. You can see how much damage he ends up absorbing there just with the present card. And the second Puff goes forward once more. That's the go button for ZDZ, and the slows are far too much, and Yuumi can't save him once again.
Yeah, I think Puff actually saved himself. He had the stopwatch, with a broken stopwatch now, and literally as the last auto attack was coming in, he pops it, so able to keep himself alive and healthy. 2 minutes down until the next dragon spawns. That would be Soul for anyone's Legend. The Baron is live, and this poke is doing less and less. We talked about how crazy it was at the start of this game. It's not really doing the same level of damage as it was before, so now anyone's Legend find themselves in a unique opportunity to really push home how they want to try and dictate this game. They're already moving down towards this Baron. They've pushed in bot side. It looks like they may have pushed in top lane as well, and they're going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, they've a ton of ways to deal with the poke. You've got the lifesteal, you've got the armor that's on Maple, and now Baron low. TT trying to move in.
They're going to try and move in. They get off it, though, and they go straight back in on top of this. They're going to have to use the final chapter and the Ragnarok. The Mega, or Super Mega Death Rocket does come out, and the Baron resets. The Destiny Gate going to be used by Captain to try and put himself maybe if someone goes closer to that wall, but it's not going to be. They still have TP on Ryze and Maple. They're going to go straight back towards this objective, but good poke here from New means they can't go for it on the side of anyone's Legend.
Yeah, they can't get TT close enough, and now it's TT that are moving over towards the objective. Maple and Xiaohao still here. Captain playing keep away.
They're going to try and play keep away. There's the shock blast coming down. Don't think he can go for this. Frigid was still sticking onto it. They're going to jump onto him. He has no Ragnarok. He has no way of surviving, and he goes down, but that's both junglers dead. Now, we can see Captain forced to flash away. The zap trying to keep New from getting this damage down. Doesn't get the accelerated shock blast. Feels like he should have. Predator being used. Both these teams posturing. Neither team gaining a huge advantage with both junglers down. I don't think either team could go for this Baron.
I feel like I'm watching fencing. It's so back and forth. One team gets the attack, then they back away, and now anyone's Legend is their turn to move in, but it looks like both of them will tie in the end. Back away, jungler for jungler. But that was incredibly tense. You can see how crucial it is for anyone's Legend to have some of these summoner spells available, like the Ghost for ZDZ, Xiaohao having his ultimate up and available, because otherwise it's really difficult to close the gap. And same when you look across over a Frigid, right? He needs to be able to keep himself safe. with that Ragnarok. Otherwise, he'll end up falling to just how much damage Bet he has right now with the 4th item now complete for this Jinx.
Yeah, not only that, has a stopwatch in hand as well. So, doing a lot of damage and also a lot of self-peel on top of that as well. Dragon has been spawned, Destiny Gate has been used. So, New starts off the Dragon. They do know exactly what's being done to it. They're going to use the Realm up to bring about half the team. Actually, more. Betty's a little bit by himself. He needs to back himself away. That could be crucial as they try and just burn onto him. Dragon, 4,000 HP. ZDZ gets caught by the gold card, as we can see now. Frigid going to have to use the Lost Chapter and, of course, the Ragnarok to keep himself alive. Not quite going to land with the accelerated shock blasters now. Xiaohao in a little bit of trouble. This Dragon is still very, very key for both these teams. Maybe they look to try and burst this one down. New still pushing, still fishing with these ultimates. Or excuse me, not even the ultimates. He gets the stair escapes now out, as we can now see Maple being pushed away. They get a fantastic wild growth. Knocks up 3. The Yuumi is dead, and now the Gwen is as well. The Dragon being taken out, but New sees himself an opportunity to go straight in onto Betty. He flashes away, and he is dead. The Aphelios comboed in. It's a triple kill. It's a quadra kill, and he's not going to be able to get the penta. He knows he's going to have to go towards that mid lane, but 4 kills for the Aphelios as TT finally get themselves back in the game.
And now, as you say, shove in mid. They may not even look for the Baron. They might just elect to push in, close out the game, but with 20 seconds still left on ZDZ, this is going to be a close one. They're really trying to go for this.
Gonna go try and take it. Inhibitor turret dead. Inhibitor next to follow. They've got Xiaohao here who's gonna try and take away the minions, and he does just that. He's gonna get taken out before he can kill off that final one. There is no backdoor bonus just yet, but they don't even need it. Look at the damage that comes out from New. That's gonna be game 1, going over to TT over anyone's legend.
And TT surprised us all, picking up the win in game 1 over anyone's legend. And honestly, they played that extremely well. Playing through side lanes and map much better than anyone's legend, understanding how they wanted to try and orchestrate the fights. And even when we got towards team fights, right? Despite the fact we had the Aphelios using the range that New had, and also that this Twisted Fate had with the rapid fire to slow the pace, keep the kind of wave and the tide that was I want to say IG, it wasn't IG.
No, it wasn't IG.
Anyone's
TT.
legend away
Anyone's
from
legend,
them and keep them at bay.
Figured out it was a long game. It was still a very, very long game, and look, deservedly from TT. Like you said, they played the map better. It did feel a little bit of times they were losing control, but a bit panicked from anyone's legend. They felt like they didn't actually necessarily need to go for that Dragon. They had one in the bank. They could have just said, look, you go on soul point, we're on soul point, but we are still scaling stronger. We are still getting to a point where in a full 5v5 we should be stronger than you, but wasn't to be. And TT now with their second game win of the split, they are going to look to try and combo that out. And honestly, the way that one went, it feels like it's definitely a little bit more TT favored.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest problem here for anyone's legend was just having that engage, right? Again, coming back to it, if ZDZ was on an Orin or a Gragas, something that could actually set up Betty, that would be a lot stronger. Anything that could kind of, I mean, even if you wanted to go back towards like something like the Camille, something that you could just lock down and be that definitive go button, it felt like that was a big problem with anyone's legend, and why we saw this like back and forth consistently, where it was trying to play off of, hey, can we actually find a Wind Becomes Lightning to get on top of TT, but unfortunately it was not the case. TT again playing out the map well, trading reasonably well in the mid game, and then finding the advantages that they needed to take home the victory.
Yeah, it really was well played by TT, and very big positive for them. Like we said, this is a 0-5 team. They just need to try and combo up 2 wins. You got one, you've got 2 opportunities to get 1 more, so that's what we're looking to see what they're doing. For anyone's legend, it just didn't seem to all click for them, unfortunately, for them. They need to try and deal with New in the next game. We'll see how the draft